All right, so welcome to our home. We're here on Main Island, Mike and Darren, and we're online business mentors. And we've got Nathan and Melissa with us today. And we're going to talk a bit about the business that we're all involved in. Mike and I have been Nathan's mentor for, what is it, about a year now, or just over a year?
Yeah.
Why don't you guys give a bit of background, like about your background and your background, how you got into the online world, and
So I was a youth care worker, so I've worked a number of different jobs, but before this, I was a youth care worker working with addictions. And around the same time that I found this business, actually met Melissa.
Yeah, about a year ago now,
Yeah.
and he was doing this online thing, which is very strange for me since I'm a nurse and I have no online background whatsoever.
yeah, and they're young, they're millennials, they're only in their 20s. So that's what I was going to ask you actually, Melissa. Did you ever think it was possible to make money online before you met Nathan?
Well, I knew people were doing it, but for me it's just way out of left field, and I really didn't think that I would ever get into it, but so far so good.
Here you are.
Yeah.
And Nathan, had you ever previously tried making money online before you met Mike and I?
I did, yeah. So probably about 2 or 3 months leading up to meeting you guys, I was in the process of actually doing everything that you need to sort of build a business. So things like funnels and autoresponders and all the systems that we use that really help us not have to work so much and be able to make so much. So I was willing, and I was in the process of paying for all of these different memberships and different programs and learning them and going through the training and kind of having to do it all on my own. And it just got to a point where it was getting super expensive. And that wasn't even before launching any type of business, let alone having a product or systems behind me. It was just getting the ball rolling, and I was already, a few $1,000s deep, and that would have been a sort of a monthly upkeep cost just to get those systems going. So when I came across you guys and your system, it was,
We cover all those costs.
yeah, it was a no-brainer. It just made a lot of sense that all of those things were built for you. And then it just made a lot of sense and took off a lot of the stress of kind of starting up an online business. So especially for someone
It's a
new.
lot to learn.
Yeah, it
like
is.
If you try to do all that on your own,
Yeah,
rather
sure.
than partner with us.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about owning your own online business?
Time freedom. We love to travel, so that's a huge thing that's important for us. And I mean, time freedom really is the biggest thing. Not having to really be on anybody's schedule. That's the biggest thing. I mean, we just traveled across Canada, drove across Canada from the East Coast, so being able to have the freedom to do that kind of thing. And now we're going to be living in one of the more expensive places in Canada, Vancouver Island. So, down the road, maybe in 5 or so years or even less, we're thinking about like the whole family thing.
Yeah.
So that is something that's important to us. And I mean, you can speak to that and just like having time to be able to spend with.
Oh yeah, and
To raise your own children, right?
well,
Yeah.
and for me it was really attractive to not be in anybody else's control. Like working in the hospitals, like they schedule you for like the next 50 years if they could, and they schedule everything, and you have to work your name on a page, and for me that's not really the greatest thing, and having the control over your own life is very attractive.
Being
Yeah.
able to sleep in.
Yeah.
That is also very
I get it.
Yeah, and just on the whole children thing, was my parents didn't have a ton of time. My dad's a super hard worker. Her dad was a super hard worker, and just parents in general. Like, a lot of parents have to work. Both of them have to work, and some of them have to work 2 jobs, and so that was super important to us to get established in a way where not only are we making money, but we're also going to have the time freedom to be able to spend with our children and raise them, to be just good people. So
And that time you'll never get back. Those first few years, like when they're gone, they're gone. So
so.
And what would you say to all the people watching that are, very intrigued by this, because they're still watching, because we're a few minutes in now, but they're skeptical?
Jump in. I mean, yeah, the only thing I can say is it's scary because it is new. The world is going that way, whether people like it or not. Yeah, we're millennials, but there's a huge amount of people nowadays and within our community that are above our age bracket. Like we're almost the odd people out, right? There's so many people looking for that freedom, and you'll never know unless you really just sort of jump in. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the whole like working hard versus working smart. Like for me, like the whole online thing is not my thing whatsoever. Being on camera is not my favorite thing at all. Let's be honest. But when you think about all the time you have and how amount of work it is work, but it's not working 12, 16 hours a day and like really working that hard. So
and not having a cap on your income, right?
Yeah.
So talking about work, have you been able to quit your job?
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it was we went to Costa Rica, and that's actually where we met you guys for the first time. Aside from online, which was amazing. How often do you have mentors and people that are willing to literally fly from Vancouver to Costa Rica to have a twofold, like a vacation, but also meet mentees and to be able to work with us and kind of expand our belief in not only the system but the people and the possibility of what we can do, right? And what was it, a month later, I ditched my job. So and now I've been full-time online ever since, and
so how long was that from when you started until you
well, I would say realistically, I would say it was about 5 months, because 2 of those 7 months I fumbled around and didn't really do a whole lot, because I just had a lot of things going in my life and stuff like that, which is great because you can start things out like this part-time. A lot of people are super busy, and so having that freedom where you're not having to just cut something out, you can work on it on the side and build it a little bit slower. Some people get results like that, right? And if you have a little bit more freedom or time freedom, then you can do that. Whereas I had a lot of family things going on, so it took me about a few months to get going, but I would say about 5 months to do that.
That seems about average. We got a lot of people at the 5 or 6 month marks when they start hitting those big numbers.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things in life that this business has allowed you to do or to have?
Well,
you mentioned Costa Rica already, but some of the
well, just taking 2 weeks, just driving across Canada, taking our time. We weren't really stressed about money since like along the way he's still working in the car, hotspotting.
So that's the biggest thing. Is like I said, for us, travel is the biggest thing at our age. Our experience is the biggest thing, and so it's allowed us to just have the time freedom to be able to experience that kind of stuff. We stayed in Canmore at like a 4.5 star place with a spa and all of that stuff, which for me was definitely not possible a year ago. I wouldn't even have thought of something like that. I would have had to save up for a year to be able to do something like that. And not only were we able to drive across Canada, but to be able to do that and then move here, meet up with you guys, and we're in the process of looking for our first home together. So which is a super exciting thing in itself, right? So
then you get to set it all up.
Exactly. So
cool. Awesome. Great. Well, that's it. So if you want to learn more about the business and exactly what it is and what it entails, then message us. You can message these guys. You can message us.
Let's have a conversation.
Probably be a link above this video, maybe below. Look for that. You can register. We do webinars every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. PST, Pacific time. We're on the West Coast, which is 9 p.m. Eastern time. So you can check us out. The workshops are totally free, and you can get all the information about exactly what we do, how we do it, and how we're able to live this life. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. See ya.